Our next question comes from Mitch on Fire 626. He says, "Hey Lone Wolf, I recently was watching a documentary on Brandon Lee, and the question dawned on me as to whether or not he was any good. What do you think, Doc? Was Brandon Lee legit? Thanks, and keep up the good work." Thank you, my friend. We really appreciate that. Mitch on Fire 626. This is actually a really good question. Thank you for sending it in. We really appreciate it. Okay, so Brandon Lee. Well, loved him. We only have a small amount of work that he produced, but I mean, let's talk about it. Let's see. He did Showdown in Little Tokyo, where he basically was like the comic relief / sidekick of Dolph Lundgren. That definitely is a Dolph Lundgren movie. But he had a couple of good fight scenes in the movie. He played well. This is my first real exposure to him. Looks a little bit like his dad. Has some charisma, not quite to the extent of his father. He's not electric like his father was, but I thought he was pretty good. And then they gave him his own feature shot in my hometown of Chicago, Rapid Fire. Now, I know it's a cop movie, it's in that genre of action, but his martial arts expression was pretty good. I recall in that movie there was a little bit of Wing Chun that he did, and obviously he did a lot of Chinese wushu, but I thought he was really good, especially as someone who has to carry an entire film. If I'm being honest, I actually like Rapid Fire more than I like Showdown in Little Tokyo. And Dolph Lundgren back in those days, he was no slouch. He was a pretty popular guy. And then we all know the unfortunate accident that happened on the set of The Crow, which again I really like, though it's not necessarily a martial arts film. I think there was a little bit of fighting in the movie, but I personally feel that as time grew, so did his presence, so did his charisma. And I thought that his martial arts expression also was growing, though I would never dream to compare him to his father, but he was no slouch. He was all right, Come to think of it, if we're being honest, if we're talking about careers, whose career Brandon Lee would have had he not passed away? I think he would have had Mark Dacascos' career, right? Mark Dacascos, also no slouch, also somewhat charismatic, right? I know now he's become this kind of caricature of himself. He's done, Iron Chef with the facial expressions, all that stuff that he's doing. It's pretty silly, but the guy can fight. Kind of a similar career. And in fact, I would argue probably he was that replacement. I would say that a movie such as Brotherhood of the Wolf, that was tailor-made for Brandon Lee. And I wouldn't be surprised if we would have heard that perhaps that was a movie that they probably had lined up for him, and then they stuck in Mark Dacascos. I have to have my researchers look and check the dates on when those movies were released and when they were shot. But yeah, I would say the Brotherhood of the Wolf was a movie that you could just pluck Mark Dacascos right out of and stick Brandon Lee into. There are a couple of Dacascos movies that I could totally see Brandon Lee in. In fact, certainly could see him in the movies with when he fought Jet Li, and I think DMX is in one of those movies. The name of the movie right now I can't remember, but those types of movies. And I mean, the guy was the genuine article. I don't think that he would have ever hit the star of, say, a Donnie Yen. Though I know, and I know this question is really about Brandon Lee, and I've kind of brought Dacascos into it. Again, all due respect, Dacascos is no slouch. He was in John Wick, I want to say John Wick 3. He was in John Wick 3. So he's no slouch, right? The guy has a little bit of star power. I mean, I give it to him. Personally, in John Wick 3, I think the guys from the brothers from the Raid, I thought they fought a little bit better than DeCasco did, but you know, whatever. Anyway, this is really more about Brandon Lee. I would say that I think that his star probably would have grown as big as DeCasco's, and I think that his career would have been Brandon Lee's career. So as far as his fighting, I haven't really seen anything outside of the movies that would lead me to believe that, you know, he was a prodigy, like his father was. But again, I'm not mad at it. I enjoy a good, you know, Brandon Lee flick when it's on. I'll check it out. In fact, this has kind of inspired me to go back and watch Rapid Fire again. So, love the question. Thank you so much. Why don't you guys drop something in the comments? Let us know, how do you feel about Brandon Lee? Was he legit? Was he the genuine article? Let us know. Comment below and hit us up. And we're going to move on to the next question. Let's go.